Hello, and welcome to the first of my classic Doctor Who reviews, where in today's video I'm going to be reviewing The 10th Planet, William Hartnell's final story, which has one episode missing, being obviously episode 4, which is animated for this one. And I do have some actual history with this episode, which I'll get into in a bit. But to explain what's happening is since I finished doing my full length Doctor Who reviews of the seasons last year, I decided as a replacement for this year, since I still have a lot of classic Doctor Who left to watch, I may as well review it. But I'm going to do a little twist on it, and that is you guys get the vote for what I watch, except for this month. The two Doctor Who stories that I'm going to be covering this month, I already picked out for myself for just to do it for the first month. So normally, every second week, a new Doctor Who review goes up. So not so we have this Friday, next Friday, which will be the 16th. Um, that will be a different video, but then the Friday after that, the 23rd, will be another Doctor Who review. So that's how it's going to work. This counts as week one. The next Friday counts as, a week off, and then the third Friday is another review. So usually an hour after an episode goes live, I will post up a poll, to give myself a week to watch and these episodes to review. So to start off with, I'm not going to choose some of the higher episode counts. I'm going to stick with roughly about 4 parts per story. Maybe and eventually I'll up it to 6+ parts, but we will see because those do tend to take a lot longer to review. With that being said, let's finally now get into the review of the 10th Planet. So this is a rewatch for me because when World Enough in Time came out or was due to come out, I went out of my way to do two things. Number one was watch this story. Obviously, because the Mondasian Cybermen were going to be a part of it, I was aware of the Mondasian Cybermen, but I never seen the original episode that they aired in. Kind of. I'm going to need to put a little asterisk on that. We'll come back to that. And then, of course, as well, the Fifth Doctor audio spare parts, which was set on Mondas at the time. Um, so yeah, I watched it, obviously leading up to my favorite modern Doctor Who episode, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really good. I love the Cybermen in it. I love the fact that there is an in-universe, not in-universe, but an out-of-universe explanation as to why they have human hands in this, whereas when we see them in World Enough in Time, they have gloves. The answer is that they just forgot the gloves. They were busy designing all of this stuff and they forgot to give them gloves. So that's why for this story and this story alone, Cybermen have human hands. There is obviously as well I wouldn't necessarily say continuity error when it comes to the World Enough in Time Cybermen, because in World Enough in Time, they use the headlamps here as the weapon instead of this part here, which is the actual weapon, because that's what they use in this episode. They use this as the weapon. So I was very disappointed with that with World Enough in Time. But yeah, the 10th planet's really good. We learn of Earth's twin, Mondas. We learned that it left Earth and went to the furthest edge of the galaxy. We don't know much that happened on it except for, well, now there's Cybermen, and that they've come back to Earth in order to drain Earth of its energy into Mondas because Mondas just doesn't have any energy. And so it's also a race to get two different space rockets down. We have one that goes up that gets destroyed in episode 2, and then we have another one that goes up but with the General Sun, because they land on in, I think it's the South Pole is where they land. And the Doctor doesn't really have much to do in this story, but that is because at this point William Hartnell was very ill. This is well known and well documented at this point. He was struggling to remember the lines. I think at some point he even had to have cue cards. done up for off the side for him to read some of this stuff. So it's kind of, this story is somewhat Doctor Light. And so yeah, as I alluded to, I did have another run in with this story that I completely forgot all about. And that was with the early YouTube. And turns out I actually seen most of this story thanks to YouTube. Um, yeah, see, I don't have much of a memory of it, but I do remember watching it in parts because back in the day, sorry, I had to pause for a cough there. Yeah, back in the day on YouTube, they didn't allow videos longer than 10 minutes. So obviously, with each episode being around 23 minutes in length, um, that's going to get split into different parts. So I remember watching that, but obviously that was before the animation came out, which I'll talk about the animation now in a second, because what episode 4 had was the Telesnap recreation, and I was confused on that because at that point when I was watching it, I was unaware of the status of missing episodes. That was just something I did not know about. So I was very weirded out by the stills with the audio, and I just gave up. I couldn't find what I was looking for, which was episode 4 at that time, and I just gave up. So the animation on episode 4 is absolutely amazing. Um, I love it. I wish that kept, the BBC would keep using that style of animation or from that animation studio because it is absolutely amazing. Like they got Bill Hartnell's likeness down to a T, and it literally looked like the proper continuation of the episode. Unlike some of the animations that came out after this, weren't all that great in terms of actual animation. I mean, even the new Celestial Toymaker animation that has yet to come out as of recording this. I'm recording this on the uh, 20th or 21st of January. So it's still yet to come out for me. But just the stills when that got announced last November was atrocious. So hopefully, that animation studio can come back at some point. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. It was really, really good. And obviously, as a first regeneration story, you know, there's not really much more you can say because it literally is the first. It's the one that paved the way for the regeneration stories that we'd get later on. So out of all the regeneration stories that I have seen, I definitely would say this would be my top 5. Because again, I love the Mondasian Cybermen design, and I love the voice that they have, and I love the fact that in World Enough in Time / The Doctor Falls, they still had that voice, which is another thing that I was also very worried about going into World Enough in Time when it came out nearly 7 years ago now. Um, so yeah, that's going to wrap up this review. So the next of my classic Doctor Who reviews, which will be, as I stated, will be on the 23rd of February, and that will be for Tom Baker's first story, Robot, which is another rewatch for me. So thank you all for watching. Let me know what you thought of the 10th Planet in the comments down below. And yeah, I will see you all on Monday for my Rocky 4 Tales from My Backlog. I'll see you all next time.